Hello, my name is Simon and welcome to AFC Bournemouth Analysis. As the season's about to start, I thought I'd take a look at our team and how it applies to fantasy football. Basically, I know a lot of people play fantasy football, but they don't know a lot about Bournemouth. So I'm basically here to help you out, go through our team, tell you which players are worth maybe taking a risk on, which ones are definitely worth avoiding, and so on. I'm going pretty much from the stats from the Fantasy Football official Premier League version of Fantasy Football. There's a link to that in this description. But obviously the information I'll be saying will be applied to pretty much every league in terms of like goals scored, assists, and so on. So without further ado, let's start right at the back with the goalkeeper. Generally I would avoid getting our goalkeeper, which is Asmir Begovic. He'll be the first choice keeper. He'll play every game in the coming season, mainly because he's the 13th priced goalkeeper, so he's fairly low down, but ultimately we only kept six clean sheets last season, so his price tag is it's not really worth it, and you can find better value out there. He did make 113 saves over the course of the campaign, but overall, I think you can find much better value options out there, even as a second choice goalkeeper. In defence is another area I would probably avoid, mainly because we've conceded at least 60 goals in our past 3 Premier League campaigns, so we're not the side you're looking for if you're looking for low priced defenders for teams that have a more defensive approach, because we don't. The recent signing of Jefferson Lerma might change that slightly and we might become more airtight at the back, but ultimately I think we play quite an open game, so I don't think clean sheets will be necessarily something we'll be able to hold on to. In terms of specific players though, Nathan Ake is our best player and scored 2 goals, got 3 assists last season, so those are decent numbers for a defender. And he's had some man of the match displays. Not that really means anything in terms of fantasy football, but if we do manage to tighten up, Nathan Ake will be a constant in our back 4. In fact, he's probably the one player we have defensively that I could guarantee will play every game. Other than that, you've got Steve Cook, who chipped in with 2 goals last season. He'll probably play most games, but we don't really, even Bournemouth fans don't know whether we're going to play 3 at the back or 4 at the back. We're completely in the dark, so we don't really know whether we're going to play with 5 across the middle with wing backs or whether we're going to play a fat back 4. I think we played better with a back 3 and 5 and then 2 strikers, but ultimately that will sway whether which players are worth picking. Diego Rico, signing we made a week or so ago, is maybe worth a punt, because he's a very attacking fullback, puts in a great cross, has a good shot on him, but obviously that's a risk, and also he misses his first 3 games of the season through suspension, so he's definitely not worth investing in right now. And going back to Nathan Ake, he is potentially injured with a friendly against Marseille. He went off limping down the tunnel, so there's a possibility that he could be injured, but if he's fit he will play. But ultimately I would probably avoid our defence. Midfield is where I think the real value is in our team when it comes to fantasy football, namely Lewis Cook at 5.5 million. I think, he obviously only got 2 assists last season, but I think that's very misleading. He didn't start for us for some reason in the last campaign, but this coming season he'll definitely be playing every game. He's an up-and-coming talent. He will play for England in future seasons. Tottenham are after him, allegedly, so that tells you how good he is. I think we'll manage to hold on to him, and I think he'll play a full season under us. And at that price valuation of 5.5, I think he definitely could be worth a punt, because I think with the signing of Jefferson Lerma that's just been made, I think Lewis Cook might have a chance to be further up the pitch, make more stuff happen, hopefully bag more assists and perhaps get his first Premier League goal. So I think he's definitely worth going for if you've got a gap in your midfield and you want a low priced option. Other than that, Ryan Fraser, also 5.5 million. I think we'll have a good season as long as he starts for us. As I said, it depends on the formation. If he plays as a wing back, I think he can get a lot of assists. I think he scored 5 goals last season with 3 assists. Those are decent numbers, especially as he didn't play every game and he had an injury midway through the season. So I think, yeah, Ryan Fraser is a player that will only get better alongside Lewis Cook. Other than that, I wouldn't say there's a huge amount of value in our midfield. Stanislas has good numbers, but he's constantly injured, so he's one of those players you'd have to keep swapping in and out of your team. He's not played any pre-season, so probably not, well, definitely not worth getting in at this moment. Jordan Ibe is too much of a risk. You look at his assist numbers and they're not too bad, but ultimately I think he's just too flaky and too inconsistent, and I'm not sure he'll hold down a place in the first team. So yeah, I think Lewis Cook and Ryan Fraser are my picks of players in our squad that are worth going for. But yeah, let's move on to strikers. Yeah, Josh King, obviously last season didn't have a great campaign, but I think this was mainly as he was played in his wrong position behind the striker rather than as the main striker. So he could never really get going because obviously in the season before that he bagged 15 goals pretty much in the last half of a campaign and was just on fire. So I think Eddie Howe has finally realised that he's got to play him as the main striker, and in that role he can cause havoc, because pre-season he's given defenders nightmares. Against Bristol City he was very good. I saw that game live, and then against Marseille he just was scintillating with the rest of the team really. But I think if he plays as the main striker, which I think Eddie Howe will get him in that position this season, I back him to score at least 15 goals this campaign. As long as he stays injury free, obviously. But at 6.5 million, he's a bit of a risk, but I think definitely there's value there. Other than that, Wilson, I think, will play a lot of our games this season, as Eddie Howe really likes strikers that work hard, bustling types. So I think Wilson at 6 million is worth maybe an outside chance. Obviously he got quite a few goals last season, but his form fell off badly at the end, despite scoring in the final game at Burnley. But ultimately I think Wilson at 6 million, I think King is worth the extra $500,000. I just genuinely think King can have a really good season this season, and maybe make it one that makes it hard for us to hold on to him next summer. Other than that, Mousset and Defoe won't play enough to make it worthwhile getting them. I think Mousset will play more than Defoe actually. I think Mousset is a young player and Howe would like to develop him more. And Defoe, there's been rumours of him possibly moving out before the transfer window ends. Can't see that happening myself, but yeah, Defoe will probably chip in with a few goals off the bench, but he's not going to be a starter every week, and definitely isn't worth going for. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. I think I've gone through the main players. There are obviously lots of players I didn't mention, but I try to avoid players that are just, too unpredictable in terms of whether they'll start or not. I tried to go for the main players that are worth avoiding and worth going for. And hopefully this is helpful. If you need any more advice on Bournemouth players in general, which ones to pick in fantasy football, just leave a comment below. I'll answer it as quickly as I can. And obviously with fantasy with the season starting, you need to get your teams in fast. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. You can follow AFC Bournemouth Analysis on Twitter and Facebook. The URLs are in this video's description, but they're also here. Other than that, please do subscribe to this channel. It really helps get the word out. Like this video as well, and subscribe obviously to all those social media channels that I just mentioned. But yes, again, thanks so much for watching, and up the cherries in all departments.